Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, whatever time it is with you and wherever you are, thank you for downloading this SmackDown review as part of the WWE podcast. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to have you listening along once again. I am Amanda, your host of the SmackDown review. Let's have a quick look back to Chamber and my predictions. And this week I didn't do too bad. First up, not on the card, obviously, this isn't the order that we went on the night, but first up in the predictions, we had Punk versus Balor. I got this one right, a win for Punk. Women's Chamber match, again, got this one right, a win for Rhea, which is absolutely brilliant. Men's Chamber match, which was my one misfire, we got a Randy win, and that is A-OK with me. A Seth return. I'm wondering, are we getting Seth versus Logan Paul at Mania? For me, that doesn't feel much like a Mania match, in my opinion, and I'm wondering if either of the Bronze will be back in time. As we got told approximately 3 million times tonight, it's 6 weeks to Mania, so I guess there is an outside chance that we might see one of those guys back in time. The Women's Intercontinental Championship, AJ Lee versus Becky. I said AJ, and we got an AJ win, and I love seeing her with that title, however long or short her run is. I think it's really well deserved for everything she's done for the women's division over the years. I'm really pleased to see her with the title around her waist. Really good stuff. And who was in the box? As predicted, someone I've never heard of came out, did a dance with some face paint on. Yikes, I'm glad that I wasn't really looking forward to it, because what a bust. To be fair, Elimination Chamber wasn't as bad as I thought it might be, and maybe as we build to Mania, things will look up. We travel, hopefully, as always. In other news, did you guys see the Iconics wrestling as the inspiration on AEW, which is a lot of fun? Shame, I think, that WWE couldn't bring them back, though. I think they would have been a real get for the tag division. But hey-ho, there we go. Let's get to it and review the SmackDown aired March 6th from Portland, Oregon. And as we revisit the occasional series of places I have been in America, I can confirm I have been to Portland, Oregon. It's a really cool place. I got a badge that says "Keep It Weird, Portland" when I was there. Just a really cool place. Really enjoyed it. So I've been there. Okay, and we start with a recap from Chamber and the fallout of Drew involving himself in the men's chamber. This means that tonight we've got a title match, Cody versus Drew. I'm guessing at this early stage in my report, we will see some shenanigans, which means the match at Mania becomes a triple threat, Drew, Randy and Cody. Otherwise, where the hell is Cody fitting in Mania? We also have Rhea on SmackDown tonight, which is great. I am so pleased it will be Rhea Jade at Mania. Did you guys see the exchanges on Twitter this week? It started off a bit bantery between Jade and Rhea, and then very quickly escalated into what seemed to be proper beef, with people like Chelsea Green and Piper Niven getting involved. Rumour has it that Jade is not popular in the locker room in a legit way, not a kayfabe way. Hey ho. First out tonight though, we've got Randy. The crowd are absolutely mad for Randy. He welcomes everyone to SmackDown. He says he arrived at the venue today and the Mania sign was already up. He says he's been looking at the sign all day. He says it got him thinking about all the Manias that he's been in. And there's been 20 of them. 20 guys. Randy has done 20 Manias. That's crazy time. He said, though, that he's only main evented twice, which he says goes to show it doesn't matter who you are and what you've done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to Mania, let alone main event Mania. He says, but here we are, and he can officially say he's going to be the main event of WrestleMania. He says that he's never been the guy to stand in the ring and say that he's the best. He says he prefers to let his peers do the talking. And there's a lot of them, like Ric Flair, Undertaker, JBL, who all say he's the best. He says that when JBL was on comms, he used to tell people that if you could build a wrestler from the ground up, you would basically build Randy Orton, which is true. He says that makes him feel amazing, and when he looks at the locker room and sees who he shares it with, makes him proud that he's still at the top in the spot that he's in, and he's earned the opportunity. It wasn't handed to him. He says that he doesn't know who his opponent will be, but we'll all know together in a few hours. He says he feels different about the two options. He names them, and we get a much bigger cheer for Cody. He says it doesn't matter. He's not leaving Mania empty-handed. He's leaving with the WWE Championship around his waist. And he says he'll accomplish that in the one way he knows how, by using RKO. As he finishes the word RKO, we get a blackout, and then we get Trick's music hit. He comes out mic in hand. He says the truth is he has voices in his head, and they tell him that he's got a bone to pick with Randy. He says it should be Trick in the main event at WrestleMania, and the crowd disagree to this strongly, to say the least. Trick seems to have a problem that Randy says that he wasn't 6'5". As he approaches Randy, it looks like they're about to have some kind of weird macho measure off, but instead Randy RKOs him, which is great, and just leaves him lying in the ring. This was a really great opening segment. Nice to have someone different starting off the show, and maybe we're seeing a slightly different, dare I say, vulnerable side of Randy. I do love him being fed Trick and him being left laying there. They've certainly started off Randy's Mania build strong. The crowd are 1,000,000% behind him, which is nice, and as it should be. Randy's a legend. I'd love to see Randy take the title at Mania off whoever it turns out to be on. I think that would be great. So far, a good start to both SmackDown and the Mania build. Guys, it might be that we don't get to see Moni McMonaface this week. Watch this space. Wade and Tess continue to build up to the main event tonight, Cody versus Drew, and we go backstage to Nick and Carmelo Hayes. Nick tells him that he's done a great job with the title, he's fought with honour and integrity and been a fighting champ. And Nick tells him that the US Open Challenge has been a massive success, and there are challenges coming in from all over the world. He says one's caught his eye in particular. Mello tells Nick not to tell him who it is as he heads out to the ring. Well, colour me intrigued. And continue to really colour me intrigued when it's revealed who he is, because it's someone from AAA, Dr. Wagner Julia. I have to be honest, I have no idea who this is. This one starts off with Dr. Wagner getting a strong start, pretty impressive luchador style with some awesome move. He gets a couple of close pins early on. This fella isn't your normal looking luchador, and I don't feel bad saying that, as Wade just mentioned it on comms too. He looks like a normal bloke you'd see down the pub, but with a lucha mask on. Anyway, Mello is now coming into the match, and I have to agree with Wade, this match is a bit of a banger. Finishes off as Mello hits nothing but net and gets the pin, retaining his title. A great match, must have been almost 15 minutes long. Mello made to look super awesome in what was a really nice first match for the show. We go backstage. Kathy is with Ilya. She asks why he keeps refusing Mello's offer of a title match. And he says, how can he keep losing and deserve a title shot? He says others may do that, but not him. He says he developed his own mindset from his mother, who spent her whole life fighting and battling. He says at the moment he isn't the warrior he needs to be, and until he finds that, he will wait. He is interrupted by Miz, who says, back in the day, we were taught to seize every opportunity, and he is saying no, because Mummy wants her little warrior back. Before Ilya can lump him in the face, they are interrupted by Kit Wilson, who says that Ilya has become toxic. Ilya says, let's all three of us step into the ring and fix this with violence. So it looks like we're going to get that match, which should be a good one, and fully expect Ilya to hand both Miz and Kit Wilson their respective arses. Next out, we have a celebration for the Irresistible Forces. Now, apparently, according to some stuff I've been reading and listening to this week, Rhea wasn't very happy to be dropping the tag team titles, as she had really enjoyed working with Io. But again, apparently WWE wanted Rhea to win the Chamber and face Jade. Now, in my opinion, it seems likely that WWE have clocked now how unover Jade is as champ, and are thinking about taking the title off her at Mania. Wishful thinking on my part, maybe. Anyway, before we go to the celebration segment, we've got Priest. He's backstage with Nick, who tells him that he's got a match tonight. And we've got Truth and Priest, for some reason, being teamed up in the tag team turmoil match tonight. Didn't see that one coming. Weird, but okay. We then get Drew facing up to Nick, saying, let's be reasonable, I'm the face of your brand. He says we had an agreement that there will be no rematch for Cody unless he won Rumble or Chamber, and he tells Nick to put it right. Nick tells him, you said you would keep your nose out of everything and let it be, but you broke your word, so I broke mine, and you will defend that title tonight. So I'm not completely sure why Drew is so anti-Cody and seemingly completely terrified to face him, but he did do everything that he possibly could to stop Cody getting to Mania, so I'm guessing he's got his reasons. Perhaps he just doesn't like him. Anyway, we've now got Nia and Lash brought out to the ring to crickets and some very quiet boos. I'm guessing this will be the setup for their Mania opponents. Nia tells Portland to soak it in and get a real good look at them. The crowd are booing like hell. Nia says with the titles, they have the tag division on lock as two of the most dominant women in WWE. Nia invites any and all challengers but says it won't make a difference. Lash says if anyone is brave to step to him, they'll get smashed. She says the irresistible forces are here and going nowhere. Lash says let's have a cheers to the most dominant tag champions. And that also goes down to absolute silence, and their pyro goes off when you can hear the pyro more loud than any kind of crowd reaction. And thank God they're interrupted by Flair and Bliss, who look mad as hell. Bliss says she's really happy for Nia. She says looks like she's finally found a coattail to ride on to the top. Ouch, but true. Bliss says they remember what actually happened, and the only reason they're champs is because they kept interfering in all their matches. Flair says if you want challengers, you're looking at the next ones. We then get Julia and Kiana out. Kiana says 2 weeks ago I beat Charlotte and Nia, and she pinned Bliss last week. She says that her and Julia are going to Mania one way or the other. Kiana tells Bliss and Flair to step aside. We then get Nick out saying on SmackDown we don't debate things, we fight, so we're getting a match for the number one contender. And that's happening right now. We've got Flair and Bliss versus Kiana and Julia, and this one kicks off literally right away. Before we get to the match, I've got to say Lash sucks on promo. She stumbled over almost every word that she had. She seemed like a little lost sheep in there. She needs to do some serious work on her promo skills, in my opinion. We got Flair in early doors, and she takes out both Kiana and Julia on the outside. We get Flair going up top and hits an absolutely beautiful moonsault on both Kiana and Julia as Flair goes for the double pin. But they kick. This one moves to its conclusion and ends up with Flair hitting natural selection on Julia and getting the win. So we will have Flair and Bliss versus Nia and Lash, which is absolutely as it should be. I don't know why they have the US champion tag team. Surely she will go to Mania as US champ anyway, as she should. I'm pleased that we're not getting the Flair and Bliss split yet. I would like them to have just one another run. I know I'm a nostalgic sap at that, but I would really just like to see it. Backstage, we've got Kathy with Cody. She asks Cody how he will navigate tonight. He says the only obstacle that remains is Drew, and he hopes next time they speak, he'll be the new champ. Enter Sammy. He says he knows things have been weird between them. And he isn't trying to get into his head, but this match is crazy. Cody says, what's crazy? Sammy says that you lost in the chain, and the whole point is the winner gets the opportunity, but you lost, and you still managed to get a second chance, and how is that fair? Cody loses his shit and asks Sammy, what is this? Are you politicking and posturing for a title shot with me? Sammy says he isn't, being self-serving. Sammy says he doesn't know. He came here to say good luck and it turned into a row. Sammy says he's rooting for him and wants what is best. So at this stage, I'm thinking, are we getting a Sammy heel turn tonight? Is it him who causes shenanigans in the match later? Watch this space, I guess. So far, guys, no moaning Minnie. I am completely happy so far with this show. Next up, we've got the Tag Team Turmoil match, and we have the Motor City Machine Guns, who I had totally forgotten about. They start off this Tag Team Turmoil match against Fraxium. The matches between these two are always exceptional, and this one seems to be no exception, starting off fast. Fraser comes in and absolutely tears it up as the fresh man. Bit of weirdness as Axiom get the pin, but Saban tries to put Shelley's leg on the rope. The ref misses it, and the Motor City Machine Guns are eliminated first. Next out, we've got Los Garzas, who come in fresh and very fast, getting in a couple of quick pin attempts straight off. Los Garzas get the pin here as Berto covers Axiom following the MTY. Next out, we have the Wyatt Six, and even in the Tag Turmoil match, we get the full entrance, which seems a little bit out of place in this kind of match, to be completely honest. It's Gacy and Lumas for the Wyatt Six versus Los Garzas, and we've got Wyatt Six eliminated quite quickly, and next in we've got the random team of Priest and Truth. Priest is in and probably quite obviously battering the hell out of both of Los Garzas. We get a super close cover from Berto, who almost gets the win against Priest, and Priest really needs the tag here. He finally gets it, and Truth is in. Truth comes in Cena style with a couple of shoulder tackles and the 5-knuckle shuffle, and looks to get the submission move, but is taken out by Angel. This one ends up finally as we get a tandem AA and South of Heaven in unison as Priest and Truth get the win and become number one contenders. I have to say, that is unexpected to say the least. There must be more to this, unless this is just set up to feed Truth and Priest to the MFTs and make them look strong. But I have to believe there's more to it than that. Are we going to see a title run from this odd couple, which I wouldn't hate? And judging by the noise of the crowd tonight, I think I'm not alone in that. We go backstage, and now we've got Sammy backstage with Randy, and he is definitely trying to stir up shit. He's asking Randy, how do you just drop Cody like that? Randy says sometimes you've got to be selfish. Sammy asks him if that makes him a bad person, and Randy says no, it makes him a 14-time champ, which I think is a pretty awesome line. Sammy tells him he's rooting for him. Randy tells Sammy he believes in him and tells him to listen to the voices. We then get Black and Zelina, who are also clearly trying to get in Sammy's head, and it feels like this is all very signposted, and I'm feeling reasonably sure that we are getting Sammy involved somehow later. Next out, we've got Rhea in her face-to-face with Jade. This should be interesting, and Rhea out to a humongous pop, as always, as she makes her entrance. Rhea has the mic and says, I said I was coming here, and I am here. She says to Jade, since you've got a lot to say to me, why not come out and say it to my face? Clearly alluding to the Twitter stuff that has gone down this week. Jade makes her entrance noticeably to absolute crickets, which I think has to be worse than being booed out of the place, right? I mean, it means basically the crowd don't care enough to react at all. Jade offers a handshake to Rhea, who takes it, and then she says, I gave you the handshake because I respect you and all your accomplishments. She respects how people love her. She says she respects the way she's worked to build a body like she has. But she says she isn't impressed. She says, your arms are big, but mine are bigger. Your legs are big, but mine are more powerful. It's like Little Red Riding Hood. And I'm more worthy than you. And come Mania, I'll beat the hell out of you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Because guess what? I'm that bitch. She drops the mic and they shake hands again. Rhea says, I respect honesty and I know what you think of me. And whilst I don't impress you physically, but I have to say you do impress me physically. She goes on to talk about the various bits and bobs of Jade's body that are bigger and more powerful than hers. She says, if you hit me though with your best shot, do you think I will go down and stay down? She says, absolutely not. But if I hit you with mine, there's absolutely no way you are getting back up. She says the difference between you and me is that your body is built for show and for aesthetics. Mine is built for fighting. She says you work out so you're more aesthetically pleasing. I work out so my body can survive and thrive within this business. She says when the bell rings, she will fight and Jade can flex all she wants, but Rhea is going to take the title with force and there's not a damn thing she can do about it. This was a great segment from Rhea. Pretty standard stuff from Jade, but I have to say she does seem to be getting a little bit better on the mic. Rhea really bought it, and I truly believe that Rhea is going to rip Jade apart. We get Johnny backstage, still working the sad angle. Chris Shelley is there trying to talk him out of his funk when Sabin comes along complaining about what just happened in the tag turmoil match. Candice tells Johnny that she needs him back and he needs to be Johnny wrestling again. He gets up and says, "You're right," and walks to the ring. I mean, if only it was that simple, right? Johnny's in the ring with Candice. He has the mic. He says Candice is right, and inside the ring he's one of the best and he's tired of pretending he isn't. He says it's time everyone remembers who he is. He says he needs to be Johnny wrestling again, and it starts tonight. This is an open challenge to anyone in the back to come face him. He isn't dressed to compete, so I'm thinking this is probably going to be quick one way or the other. And yes, it's Oba Femi who comes out, who answers the challenge, so it's going to be quick for sure. This one is over in about 2 minutes, as predicted. Johnny gets flattened and loses to Femi. I'm not sure where we're going and what we're doing with that storyline, but I guess we will continue to see. Backstage again, Meechin and Jade. Jade asks Meechin why she let Rhea skip the line. Meechin tells her because Rhea earned it. Jade says she will be waiting next week. So, wait, is that a title match set between Meechin and Jade next week? Or are they just having a fight? Who knows? Anyway, let's quickly circle back to the Johnny thing. What do we think the long-term plan is there? Now Tommaso Ciampa's gone, DIY is no more. Indy Hartwell left some time ago, so we've literally just got Johnny Gargano and Candice left of that original gang. I guess Dexter Lumis is still around, but he's obviously well embedded with Wyatt Six now, and you certainly wouldn't want to split them up. So what's the long-term plan here? I hope they have one, because actually Johnny is a great wrestler, as is Candice, and I would really like to see more for both of them. We get Nick, and he's with Danhausen, who, by the way, is the dancing, face-painted fella who was in the box stroke coffin the other night. He's asking for a mentor and an induction into the Hall of Fame. Nick offers Danhausen Miz as his mentor, which is all just ridiculous. And guys, I'm just not having it. This is the first time I am leaning in to Moaning McMoans a lot tonight. I'm not having Danhausen with Miz. Not having it. Now to the main event, after another recap of the events which have led us here. Drew versus Cody. And looking at the timestamp on the bottom of my TV, we've got about 30 minutes left, so this should be decent. First things first, though, Drew tries just walking away. Wade saying on comms that this is unheard of, that a champion be treated this way. I'm not so sure about that, but we know that Wade is always going to be heel commentator when it comes to Drew. Cody brawls Drew back to the ring, and we are off properly. Some pretty spectacular stuff from Cody, and we end up with a table being set up, which Drew puts Cody through. We get a ref bump where Cody's going for the Cody cutter, and Drew pulls the first ref into the way, which takes the original ref out. We get another ref down after a missed potential pin from Cody. We get a really close pin from Cody with the second referee out, which is like the ultimate hope spot. Drew with a close pin and starts chopsing off to the new referee, looking as like he's about to lamp him, but he doesn't. It's not looking great for Cody, and Drew headbutts the ref, and the ref is out of it. Again, so that's the second ref down as Drew grabs a chair, but then we get Fatu out, who wrangles the chair from Drew's clutches from behind. And Cody gets a close pin with the original ref, who comes round in the nick of time. Drew misses with the Claymore. And Cody goes up to the top and hits a super cutter and follows up with a crossroad and gets the win. Well, wow, that is freaking awesome. I am delighted. I am so pleased to see the title off Drew. I have never really liked him in terms of his character. Obviously, the actual guy is probably a stand-up guy, but in terms of his character, I don't like him. They've painted him into a right heel character with this title run, which I don't like. Cody is back as champ, which means that we've got Randy versus Cody at Mania, which will be one for the ages, which is great stuff. And Fatu was the one who caused the interference, so that continues with him and Drew. What will the consequences be for Drew getting rid of not one but two referees tonight with his Healy shenanigans? Well, I'm guessing he's going to get slapped with a decent size kayfabe fine, followed by a kayfabe suspension, which will kill a few weeks in the lead up to Mania. I guess Drew will then return, start feuding with Fatu, and we're going to get some gloriously brutal match at WrestleMania between Fatu and Drew. I think Drew being suspended will work quite well in terms of storyline, because actually 6 weeks to maintain that, which is essentially quite a simple reason for a match, might mean it runs out of steam. So I expect maybe we'll see Drew back with a couple of weeks to go to build that match, and we'll see that at Mania, which is fine. All in all, guys, you are not getting any moaning from me tonight. The only beef I've really got left is Jade. I don't like her as champ. I think as a person, she sounds like quite an obnoxious diva as well. So both kayfabe and real life, she seems like a bit of a dick. But I have to say, all in all, a good show. Two greats tonight. A major title change, and the road to Mania changed before our very eyes. Love Rhea being up against Jade. Flair and Bliss, number one contenders. Mello continues to be built really, really strongly in his US Open challenge as well. And although I didn't know the guy he was up against, that was an absolute banger. So we've had some really good, just solid wrestling action on tonight's show as well. So for me, tonight, a very solid A- for tonight's show. I am sat here in the UK with a big fat smile on my face, thinking, actually, maybe this next 6 weeks to Mania won't be so bad. So guys, that just about does it for this week's show. Thanks for having me in your ears once again. And remember, until next time, be kind.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.